Hello, children. Good morning, students of class 9. I hope you all are ready to continue with the climate chapter. So, here, children, I am explaining very small points, minute points in detail. Please listen carefully so that the basics of the chapter is clear. Once the basics of the chapter is clear, you will find that you will follow it very easily. So today we will do the climatic controls. Now this climatic controls not only act over India but it acts all over the world, and all of them come together to give us different types of climatic types in different parts of the world. There are six major such factors or climatic controls that control the climate of any place. They are latitude, altitude. Latitude, you all know very well, children, that is the location of the place is important. Altitude is the height of any place. Pressure and wind system, that is atmospheric pressure and the wind that blows according to it. Distance from the sea, that how far you lie away from the sea, that is important. Ocean currents. So ocean currents, they are the ones that move in the ocean water or the sea water. The movement due to the wind that takes place in the ocean currents in the ocean is known as ocean currents. And of course the relief features is very important. Now let us study each of them in detail and understand how they are important factors in influencing the climate of any place. Let me explain each one of them diagrammatically to you all. Now children, coming to the first factor, that is latitude. So latitude is very important, children, because we all know that the earth is rotating and revolving around the sun, and the earth is not straight, it is moving at a certain angle. That is, the earth is slightly tilted, and this tilting helps the earth to have the sunlight in different portion during different times of the year, and this results in different seasons. Of course, children, that is a different matter. We will discuss this later on. But first, let us study how latitude is important. Now, children, this portion, that is the torrid zone. The torrid zone lies between 23.5 degree north to 23.5 degree south. So we have the Tropic of Cancer here and the Tropic of Capricorn here. So this portion, this entire zone between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn receives the maximum sunlight, and sun rays are concentrated in this portion. So this portion gets the maximum heat throughout the year. All the places, all the countries which lie in this torrid zone, they all have the maximum heat. So this portion is maximum heated up. So the name torrid zone, or it is also known as tropical zone. Now next comes the temperate zone. The temperate zone receives moderate rays. So this temperate, the word temperate means moderate. So here the rays are slanting. The rays is slightly spread out in these areas. So the temperatures are moderate. So as we move away from the equator, the temperature goes on decreasing, and the temperate zone receives the moderate temperatures, and the coldest zone is the frigid zone. So you can see that how much I have to slant the rays, and because of this the frigid zone is the coldest zone in the world, and this zone also receives very less amount of sunlight. And this happens, as I said, there are two factors. One is the rotation as well as revolution. It is the revolution which is more important because this zone receives lesser amount of light because the earth is tilted, and alternately both the hemisphere, that is the northern hemisphere or the southern hemisphere, gets the comes or gets more amount of sun rays, and we have the seasons, that is summer season is enjoyed in the northern hemisphere when the direct rays is more in the northern hemisphere. When the direct rays are more in the southern hemisphere, we find there is summer in the southern hemisphere and winter in the northern hemisphere. So in this way, latitude is important. It depends upon where we are living, whether we are living in the torrid zone or in the temperate zone or the frigid zone. If we are in the torrid, we will enjoy more heat, more sun rays, and accordingly it will lessen if we move to the other zones. The next factor is altitude, children. So altitude is a very equally important factor that influences the amount of heat that we are receiving throughout the day. One thing must be very clear here, children. The sun rays first hits up the land. The heat is first transmitted from the sun to the land. So the land is the portion that gets heated up, and then the heat is transported from the land to the layers of air above. So it is transmitted to the layers above. But what is the rate of heating up? The rate of heating up, or the rate of cooling, you can say the rate of cooling of the air, because heat is transmitted from the lower layers of air to the upper layers of air. Now suppose here it is 0 meters. Suppose the land surface is 0 meter. Now let me tell you, children, all over the world the land surface is taken up, the height of the mean sea level is 0 meters. This is very important. You all must know the height of mean sea level is 0 meters. Now the heat is transmitted from the lower layers to the upper layers of air. Now children, the process of heating up starts. First the sun hits up the land surface. So land surface gets heated up. Now suppose if I am standing at the sea level, the height of mean sea level is 0 meters. Now what happens? First the land surface at 0 meter gets heated up. Then heat is transmitted from the lower layers to the upper layers. Now when the heat is first at the land surface is maximum heated up. Suppose if I take that at 0 meters the heat is 32 degree centigrade. Now when we rise 165 meter height, the temperature will fall by 1 degree. So what will be the temperature here? Obviously it will be 31 degree centigrade, because the temperature falls by 1 degree when we rise 165 meter of height. Again another 165 meter of height, the temperature falls by another 1 degree. So the temperature will be 30 degree centigrade. We rise by another 165 meter, then the temperature will fall by another 1 degree and it will be 29 degree centigrade. In this way it is 1 degree centigrade of fall in temperature with every 165 meter of rise, and that's why we say that the hill stations are cooler, mainly because the heat does not reach there, and as we rise higher and higher the temperature goes on falling, and this is known as normal temperature lapse rate. Normal temperature lapse rate is the drop in temperature by 1 degree for every 165 meter of rise. When the temperature drops by 1 degree for every 165 meter of rise, it is known as normal temperature lapse rate. And that is how altitude matters in the enjoying of temperature. The more we are closer to the ground, flat land, plain land, closer to the land surface, which is a plain area, we enjoy the maximum temperature. And the more we climb up, we go higher and higher in the hills and the mountains, the temperature goes on falling because of this normal temperature lapse rate. However, in these days, due to global warming and other factors, ozone layer depletion, this norm may not be maintained. The lapse rate may change because of the pollution all over the world. So let's move on now to the next factor, that is pressure and wind. Now our next factor is pressure and wind. Now this factor I had already discussed in detail in my previous class, where I have discussed how pressure changes with the height, or how the pressure changes with the rise or fall in temperature. Now here one thing I will again repeat: when there is high pressure, there is more air. Here pressure means the amount or the volume of air that is present there. So high pressure means more volume of air is present, and low pressure means less volume of air is present. So wind will always move from the areas where there is more pressure or high pressure to the areas where there is low pressure. So wind will always move in the direction of high pressure to the low pressure. And what factors control pressure, that I had already discussed in my previous video, but in short I will mention: when the temperature is more, that is during the summer months, the pressure is low because hot air is lighter, it rises up, and so there is less air. In the winter months, the pressure is high because cold air is dense and it settles down, there is more air, so there is high pressure. In case of height, the more you are closer to the plain land, you have more air above you, and so the pressure is high. And if you move to the higher altitude, there will be less air above you and the pressure will be low. So it is just a inverse relation. Always higher temperature, low pressure, low temperature, high pressure. Similarly, in case of our height also, more height, low pressure, less height, high pressure. So the relationship is inverse, which we always must remember. Our next factor, children, is distance from the sea. So this is also very important because the land breeze and sea breeze are very much active along the sea coast. During the daytime, the land gets heated up and the hot air, as I have said repeatedly, it's lighter, it rises up, and that vacuum is filled up by the air which moves from the sea. So sea breeze blows during daytime and keeps the coastal areas cooler. During night, the opposite happens, that is, water gets heated up over the sea and the wind blows from land at night towards the sea. Areas closest to the sea coast always have much more cooler conditions in comparison to the places which lie in the interior of the country, and this is known as continentality. So those areas which lie close to the sea coast, they have moderate temperatures. It is known as maritime climate or marine climate or marine or maritime conditions, whereas all those areas which lie in the interior of the country, we say it enjoys continental climate. Now children, if in exam any question comes that Mumbai enjoys much more cooler summer than Lucknow, what is the reason? So first thing that you have to keep in mind is the location of the place. Mumbai is located close to the sea coast, whereas Lucknow is in the interior of the country. So Mumbai enjoys marine climate, whereas Lucknow enjoys continental climate. So the location of any place is important. The more and more we move into the interior of the country, the difference between summer and winter temperatures become more profound, much more evident or clear. Our next point is ocean currents. So what are ocean currents? Children, currents are the movement in the water. So the movement is caused by the wind, of course, and the movement is seen in a particular direction. That is, the water has a tendency to mix. So warm water will always mix with the cooler water. So the water in the tropical zone is warm, the water in the frigid zone is cool. So the water from the tropical zone will move northward or southward in the southern hemisphere, whereas from the north pole the water will move towards the equator, and similarly from the south pole the water will move towards the equator, because the polar waters are cooler and the equatorial or the tropical zone water is warmer. So water will mix, and this results in the movement in a particular direction. Another fact here is important, children, that the warm water will always remain on the surface and the cold water will sink and flow down. It will remain down and it will move forward. Now all the places which are lying close to the sea coast or at the sea coast, they feels the impact of the ocean current. If the water is warm, then what will happen? All the areas close to the sea, they will enjoy the warmer winds from the sea, and this warmer winds will also bring rainfall along with it. All the places which are located close to the cold current areas, that is the areas or the lying in the along the sea coast, and there is cold current flowing, the wind that will blow over this cold current, they will bring down the temperatures, they will lower the temperatures, and also they will be drier. You will find, children, during the winter months we see that our skin cracks and we have to apply different kinds of body lotion to keep it oily and to protect it. So this happens because the winter winds or the cold winds are mainly dry. So during this time, when the cold winds blow over the cold waters, cold ocean waters, or over the cold current, it not only lowers the temperature but makes the condition dry over that place. So, and the places where the cold and the warm current meets, there is dense fog. The dense fog takes place due to the meeting of the warm and cold current, because there is rapid condensation there. Both the water currents are of different temperatures, and this causes the formation of fog. And fog, you all know, children, are the suspended droplets of water in the air. So this suspended droplets of water reduces the visibility to a great extent. We always experience this during the winter months, and we find that the visibility becomes very, very less. Even for sometimes it is so dense that we cannot see the clear by objects as well. And the last factor is the relief. Relief is also very important because in case of relief, the high mountains acts as a natural barrier, and these natural barriers prevent the entry of cold or hot winds into and out of the country. They are also responsible for causing precipitation or rainfall. The winds that move up the slope of the mountains bring heavy rainfall on that side, and this side is known as the windward side, and the side which lies to the opposite of it receives less rainfall, and that is known as leeward side or rain shadow area. This I had explained in the second chapter also, that the mountain ranges, they act as barrier to the rain bearing winds. Now our Himalayas is a classical example of a relief barrier where the cold polar winds cannot enter our country. In the same latitude, we find the other places like in China, they are experiencing freezing temperatures. But our country does not experience that freezing temperature because the Himalayas stand as a guard, it stands as a huge wall, and the winters are comparatively warmer for India. In USA, children, you will find that the situation is much different because there is no such wall present, and the summers are quite hot, very hot, because the hot winds from the Gulf of Mexico hits up USA, and during the winter season the cold polar winds sweeps down the entire USA. So winters are freezing in USA, but summers are very, very hot because the warm winds are there. So the mountains also influences the temperature very well in any country, making the place warmer or colder in different seasons. Now coming to the last part, I will just discuss that what is this relief rainfall. Relief rainfall is the rainfall caused by any mountain ranges standing in the path of rain bearing winds. Now where from this rain bearing winds come? So this rain bearing winds are the winds that are blowing from the warm seas or the ocean. Obviously the water must be warm. So when the wind is blowing from the warm sea, so they will pick up moisture, they will carry moisture, and they will move towards the land. And when they are moving towards the land and rising up the slope of the mountain, it is causing rainfall, and it is known as orographic rainfall or relief rainfall. The mountain is the orographic barrier. Now these winds, when they rise up the slope, they cause heavy rainfall on this side. Now this side which receives heavy rainfall is known as windward side. The windward side receives excessive rainfall, and that we have seen that every year the western coastal plain receives very heavy rainfall from the warm water or the warm winds that are moving here. The winds are carrying the moisture from the warm sea, that is the Arabian Sea. The opposite thing happens on the opposite side. The leeward side is the back side of the mountain, receives lesser rainfall because most of the rainfall occurs this side and lesser rainfall occurs here. There is lesser cloud formation. This side gets less rainfall, and that's why we find that all the places lying in the Deccan Plateau area is much drier and even arid conditions prevail there. So this opposite happens because the mountains acts as an orographic barrier. The western coastal plain receives heavy rainfall and the Deccan Plateau receives lesser rainfall because they lie to the back of the mountain range. So with this, children, I come to the conclusion of climatic controls. So next video will have the details of the factors which dominantly control the climate of India. I hope you all have followed this portion very well. Thank you. Have a nice day.